Hey everybody, it's Brandon with Liquid Force Kites, and we're here today to talk solo. More specifically, we're here to talk about the key design changes to the all-new 2020 Solo. For those of you that are familiar with the Solo, it is our single strut platform kite that was built with free ride, hydrofoiling, light wind, and travel kiteboarder in mind. It's a kite that has a large wind range. It works really well in a large variety of conditions. It excels in light wind, and it's gonna work no matter where you are in the world. You can trust it. You can put this thing up, go have a great kiteboarding session, and come back in and just be super stoked. So let's go over some of the design changes to the 2020 Solo that have given it those performance characteristics. So first and foremost is the kite shape. So a really important one is the arc of the kite, and in this case the arc of the kite has gotten a lot flatter through the center of the kite. This has exposed more of the canopy directly to the wind, giving us a kite with a lot more low-end power per its size. In addition to the arc of the kite, we've also changed the boxiness of the kite. So down here in the wingtip, we've increased the depth of the wingtip. That's given us a kite that responds faster to turns. It's also given us a kite that is more forgiving to that rear line tension. So when you're sheeting in, trying to find that power in the wind, by having a longer wingtip, you're able to actually take more rear line tension, and the kite will be more forgiving in nature. Additionally, this has lowered the AR of the kite a little bit, giving a kite that sits a little bit deeper in the wind window. Once again, giving you that large sweet spot of power. Down here in the wingtip, we've actually also increased the diameter of the leading edge through the wingtip. That's given us a kite that's more rigid and robust in the sky. It listens quicker to your turning inputs and responds faster. So we have a kite that's a little bit faster turning and a lot more rigid in the sky. Another big thing that you can change about these kites is the profile, and that's the curve of the wing from the leading edge to the trailing edge. Think of the airfoil of the kite. Down here in the wingtips, we have a really flat profile. That flat profile is really efficient and drives through the wind, so it gives us speed and turning speed down here in the wingtip. As we transition into the center of the canopy, we have a lot deeper canopy profile. That deeper canopy profile gives us more low-end power. It moves the kite a little bit deeper into the wind window and gives us that nice smooth feel that we were looking for. Lastly, here on the shape of the kite, we have the bridles. So the bridle plays an important role in how a kite flies. And if you're familiar with the Solos from previous years, you'll know that the Solo traditionally came with a static bridle, meaning fixed, nothing moved. In this case, for the 2020 Solo, one of the big improvements was adding a dynamic bridle. This means it has some aluminum sliders up here in the upper cascade, as well as down here in the lower cascade of the bridle. And these dynamic bridle systems allow the bridle to adapt as you sheet in and out, hit gusts and lulls. And this gives you a more robust feeling through the whole range of the sheeting of the bar. So not only have we improved how the kite feels when the bar is sheeted in, but as you sheet that bar out, you continue to have that great high-end performance feel in the kite without losing a lot of your stability in your kite. I think this is, in addition to improving the bar feel, also help the canopy remain a lot more rigid in the sky and not luff as much as the bridle adapts to the current wind situation. The last really important thing that you want to talk about when you're building a kite is what you build the kite out of. So Liquid Force is dedicated to using the highest quality materials on the market, and in this case we use Artesian triple rip stop. This is the industry standard as far as canopy materials go. It has 3 vertical and 3 horizontal laminate strands. Those strands help with rip and abrasion, as well as this material is then coated with really high quality UV resistant coatings, because the UV actually does a lot of damage to the kite. So this material not only will last a really long time, it's also going to be really resistant to abrasion, tears, and punctures. Additionally, over here in the leading edge, we used a really rigid Dacron. That rigid Dacron helps improve the airframe structure and makes it a more rigid structure in the sky. If you know anything about wings, the more rigid the wing can be, the better it's going to handle, especially in gusty conditions. Another really important thing is the amount of Dacron we used in the canopy of the kite. You can see over here in the wingtip, we really have used a low application of Dacron down here in the wingtip. There's none in the trailing edge, there's none along this leading edge part, and what that does is that gives you the rigidity you need for the turning input down here, but it decreases the weight of the kite. This kite is the lightest solo we've made yet, and that lightweight transfers to a kite that hangs in the sky in marginal conditions or in those light wind conditions that you find hydrofoiling. It also makes the most of the conditions because it's light and nimble, so it flies well, it's very active and energetic, and it's ready, floating there for you to just take it and go where you want to go. So that's really important when we talk about material construction. As always, we use our layered frame construction, which means there's a layer of mark cloth between any hard Dacron and any softer canopy material. This ensures a smooth, seamless, wear-free transition. We triple stitch and glue all of our seams. We have a great leading edge closure that is really reliable. And then down here in the trailing edge, we have our sprocket trailing edge double canopy layer. So this is 2 layers of Tajin triple ripstop in a pattern that oscillates here to break up that straight line seam. This not only gives us better laminar flow release of the wing, it also helps ensure that when this kite is flapping, we're not going to see any weird resistance or abrasion or weird soft spots here in the trailing edge. So all that construction, when you combine that with our max flow inflation system, one of the fastest inflation and easiest inflation systems on the market, and our 0.08 mm TPU bladders, result in a kite that is extremely, again, lightweight. We're talking feather light. This kite hangs in the sky, and that's just one of the things that makes this kite really special. So again, this kite works really well in a wide variety of conditions. We've improved the raw power of the kite. We've improved the sweet spot on the kite and made it more forgiving over a larger range of sheeting on the bar. We've increased the turning speed, and we've made a kite that I feel performs better than any solo we've had out on the market yet. So if you're looking for a kite that's extremely easy to fly, super reliable, and has some performance packed into it, look no further than the Solo.